Most people, after a fight will look to get home. Dan Hooker, you're doing things a little bit differently. 4 weeks notice or just under 5 weeks notice against a top five competitor in Abu Dhabi, a guy that a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in. Of course, you sign the contract, and yeah, you now get to fight Islam Makhachev, and I guess when you look at that fight, that's quite a good test for not only yourself but for Islam as well, because he hasn't fought a guy in the top 10 yet. Can you just talk a little bit about what you see in that matchup?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a fight. Like it's a bit of both. We're gonna see how my grappling stacks against these guys, just because like the way that I fight or the style that I fight, the UFC gives me exciting matchups. It's not like by preference. It's not like I sit there and pick and choose and all this stuff. Like I'm happy. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to fight wrestlers. I'm quite happy to fight grapplers and things like that. But just the UFC knows how exciting you are as a fighter, so they want to put you in there with exciting fighters. Like my whole career, it's even been like that at featherweight. They put you with Yair and Hatsuyoki and Jason Knight, like all these guys that come out to war. Ross Pearson, like all of these guys are exciting fighters. It's definitely not by choice. So to me, it's an exciting challenge. It's an exciting challenge. It's a new puzzle to solve, and it's I get to prove a lot of people where my grappling lies in the world. This guy's touted as now one of the best grapplers in the world. Well, I want to see how I stack up.
In terms of Islam's skill set, like you say, you want to see how you stack up against, this smothering wrestler. Is it sort of like, do you feel like you're coming into this one a little bit overlooked in that department, or is it more, let's see how good my wrestling really is, sort of thing?
Yeah, no, I just don't care about anyone else's opinion. Like there's no like rocket science to it. Like if someone comes up to me, they say, "Oh, you're this, you're that, you're that." That's your opinion. That's not fact. We'll see. We will see. Like I have consistently done the hard work my entire career. I've consistently put myself in like terrible positions and like the worst positions. So when you give me fights like this, when you give me opponents like this, I'm comfortable because I've done the work. I'm definitely not scared of being in the fire, in the training room. They're gonna say, "Oh, he's gonna do this and he's gonna ragdoll you and he's gonna be like that." It's like, yeah, I put myself in those positions daily in the training room. I get ragdolled daily in the training room. So if you think I'm afraid of it, or if you think I'm scared of it, that's definitely very far from the truth.
Sort of on a similar line, I'm sure you've seen Khabib's comments about the matchup. Obviously, Islam's his boy. He said your only chance is landing a lucky punch. Like I said, Islam's his boy, but did you want to respond to those comments at all?
I'm not scared of Khabib. Why would I be scared of Islam? That really that really surprises me. If they came to me and they said, "You want to fight Khabib in 4 weeks?" I would take that fight in a heartbeat. I took this fight in a sentence. I thought about it for about 5 seconds. It would take me 1 second to accept that fight with Khabib. So if you feel like his word carries any weight, that's just not true. 99%, there's not a man on the planet that is 99%, 99 to 1 against me inside a cage. That's just it's just laughable.
And I know obviously Eugene's come home, and he's going to be feeding information to Frankie through whatever means. Frankie's probably the ideal person to be leading this training camp, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely having Frank Hickman here is like there's Andre Paulette back in New Zealand, and then Frank Hickman. Like those are my wrestling coaches. Those are my guys. Like if I could have one of any two people in the world, it would be them. You know, so it's the man for the job. Like it's just kind of everything fell into place. And also, Doug Viney's over with Hemi Ahio in Dubai, and so they're gonna come to Fight Island as well. So then I have the wrestling and grappling taken care of in Frankie, and then Dougie can take care of the striking and that kind of the pad work stuff for fight week, and then Hemi Ahio, there ain't no man with more money than him in the corner. So and if you ask Dougie or Hemi what whether they or not they care about Islam Makhachev, you'd be they do not give a shit.
I guess for him, will this be his first time in a UFC corner?
Yeah, I'd say so. It definitely will be. You know, he's been to some big cards in their field, in the boxing field. But yeah, it'll be cool. Just gear him up in all the Venom stuff and send him out, see how it goes.
In terms of what you can take from the striking, I guess on that quicker turnaround, it's more just, you know, sharpening the tools as opposed to trying to add anything new specifically to throw at Islam?
Yeah, I feel like a basic version of my striking beats his best striking on any day. That's not, yeah, like obviously Nasser and Islam are like, they're very different strikers. Like even though they're southpaw, like they're both very different strikers. Like Nasrat's like quick hands, a lot of hooks, like comes over the top with punches. Like Islam just merely uses his striking to set up his takedowns. That's all it's for. Like if he's throwing strikes, it's because he's intending to shoot. So it's very, even though they're both southpaws, it's like a very different style. But I definitely understand his game and his approach. And yeah, head and shoulders, I'll have like an advantage on the feet. Who knows? You might just let him throw a few strikes so he gets comfortable. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different ways that you can play it. Like that's one of the best things you can do to like these to like a striker is actually let him land a few strikes and he's just like, oh wow, this is actually working. Like nah, but it's not. I'm just letting you dig your own grave. But we'll see. There's a lot of different ways I can play it.
In terms of the training camp itself, how important is it for you to actually be able to work with other fighters in these next few weeks?
Oh, massive. You wouldn't like, it's like a different style of fight. Like Nasser was a striking fight. I could have kept that on the feet all 3 rounds and I would have been fairly comfortable like skating to a decision. But you know, I think maybe I hadn't grabbed the hold of someone in so long that I just wanted to get some wrestling rounds in. You know what I mean? Like it was a bit of a mixture, but definitely couldn't have done that camp with like an Islam fight. You know, shadowboxing in garage and going for track work is like all right because I have like a lot of striking muscle memory. Like it's always there and it doesn't need really that much sharpening. But fighting a guy like Islam, you would need like a Frank Hickman. You would need like some guys I'm working with over here in the States, just because it's a completely different kind of energy you use when in the grappling exchanges.
Whereabouts are you doing your work? Are you working out at Syndicate where Frank works, or are you doing mostly at the PI?
Both. So I'm at both of those spots every day. Yeah, Frankie's one of the coaches, or he's coaching at Syndicate MMA here in Las Vegas. It's just around the corner from the PI. So I wrestle every day. Well, I wrestle a couple of times a day with Frank, either at the PI or with the boys at Syndicate. And then, like PI is taking care of everything else, nutrition, physio, got strength and conditioning after this. Like it's everything. like food. They give me a ring that tells me if I'm tired or not. Like these guys are absolute wizards.
In terms of putting the fight together itself, how long did those negotiations take?
Oh, negotiating it. I think Sean Shelby said about a sentence, and I was just like, and then it was like a one line. It was like a one-line sentence. He just said, "We're trying to get hold of you for days. You're still alive." I was like, "Oh, barely alive, bro. It's been a rough few days in Vegas, but now we're good." And then he's just like, "I need someone for the Islam fight." Sold. Why didn't you call me Monday? He says, "I couldn't find you, Dan."
So there was no real sort of negotiations to obviously make this fight worth it for you to skip coming home and taking it on short notice and obviously being stuck outside the country.
Oh, like I took the fight and then they gave me a bunch of stuff. Like it wasn't the other way around. It wasn't like I sat there and I was like, I want this and I want that and I want this, and you don't meet my demands, I'm not taking a fight. Like I just did what I always do. Like I've done it my whole career. Is I'm just like, I could one day maybe like when I do a book or something when I'm an old man, I'll put every message to Sean Shelby. It'll probably fit into one page. Probably just be like, you want to fight this guy? Yeah. You want to fight this guy? Yeah. Like it's what I've always done. He goes, you want to fight Islam Makhachev? And I said, yeah, cool. And he's just like, all right, well, get you a place to stay and we'll bring your wife and daughter out. And like yeah, it was cool. Like I feel like they like are showing appreciation for what I've always done, which is just like they said that to me. He's just like, you're flying in the day before weigh-in, no complaints. Didn't want to move the weight, didn't want to move the date, didn't want to do this, just wanted to show up, do your job, and that's it. And so I feel like they're like pretty appreciative of that because there's so many fighters that muck around and do this and ask for this and ask for that, and that's just something I've never done. It's just, you want me to show up on a date, all you got to do is ask.
In terms of your wife and daughter coming over, how soon are they coming over, and is that just going to be home for the next however long for you guys?
Yeah, they'll meet me here after the fight. So there's no point really bringing them over during training camp, as I'm just pretty much training like 3 times a day. So there's not that much point. I'll go to Abu Dhabi, come back, and then when I arrive back in Las Vegas, I'll bring the family out.
How did the wife feel about
that? It's like probably like everyone back home, just sick of lockdown. If someone have offered you a free trip to live in Las Vegas, I don't think you'd turn it down.
In terms of the UFC finding you a place, is that going to be like an open-ended stay, or at some point are you going to have to find your own accommodations and stuff?
Of course, like I don't expect them to obviously not pay my rent forever. Like that's not I doubt that's not that's something they want to do. Yeah, like we'll see. It's hard to judge. It's hard to judge how everything, like there's not much point in coming back to lockdown. Like I'm not yeah, like I want to train. I need to train. That's the main thing. I need to train and I need to be able to travel. Like as long as that is hampered, there's not much point coming back to New Zealand. So as soon as like I'll come back to New Zealand as soon as like that stuff is sorted out. But I'm sick of complaining, to be honest. Like I'm sick of fucking complaining about MIQ. I'm sick of complaining about lockdowns and shit. Like just get on with it.
Yeah, understandable. In terms of other things they got thrown into the contract, I feel like this is potentially a title eliminator. Do you have that in writing?
Oh, they'll never put that in writing. That's not a that's not something that they do. It's more just a feeling. It's more just a feeling, you know. I feel like this is a title eliminator more than the Chandler fight. Like, I was more uncertain about whether me versus Michael Chandler was an eliminator, that title eliminator, than this fight. Like, the amount of stock they're putting into Islam, like they're setting him up for a title, like 100%. And that's just not how a title eliminator works. You can't have a title eliminator and one guy wins and he gets a title and the other guy doesn't. Like, that's not. Then it's not a title eliminator. So I feel like when I get the job done, that's what's next for me.
Yeah, fair. I think a lot of people feel the same way, that this is probably the fight that the matchmakers will be looking at for whoever wins between Poirier and Oliveira at the end of the year. In terms of, you know, the schedule between now and the fight at the end of the month, how soon do you go over to Abu Dhabi, and yeah, what's your schedule looking like?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna fly over like normal fight week, go over a week before the fight with Frank, Dougie and Hemi over there. Yeah, so for the next, what is that, 2.5 weeks? the next 2.5 weeks of training camp, you know. Now that time, like, training camp, a 3-month training camp, you blink and that thing's gone. So a 2-week training camp, like, it'll go so quick. I'm just gonna do what I do, train 7 days a week, get my work done, put my head down, and getting ragdolled to shit every single day. There's some mean wrestlers over here. Frankie's on my ass. They've been ragdolling me every single day. So when I get to the fight, if I get ragdolled, it'll be absolutely nothing new to what's been going on inside the gym. But I'm gonna be prepared, without a doubt.
Sorry, man. Well, I'll leave it at that and let you get back to it. Thank you very much for your time, as always, and always a pleasure to talk to you.
Cheers, mate. Catch you later.